In the United States today, there are hundreds of schools scattered across our nation that are built of unreinforced masonry and are located in high seismic areas, like in Washington State near the Cascadia Fault, and in Utah along the Wasatch Front. When the ground shakes, these schools will either be badly damaged or will suffer complete collapse. One projection for when the Cascadia Fault ruptures, and it will rupture. 7,600 children in the Seattle public school systems and surrounding areas will perish if the Cascadia Fault ruptures during the school day. That is what we are talking about when we talk about disasters by design.
One of the things that I think we can do in terms of bringing science to decision makers is making sure that we're really telling the story of our science, that we're telling the stories of the people or the wildlife or the places, that we're really telling the story of where we're working, what we're learning, what we know, where the challenges are, but also where the opportunities are for change.
My core argument is that when it comes to disasters, some of the most important trend lines are running exactly in the wrong direction. And it is because of these trends, not because of nature's wrath or fury, as we would often be told, that we are seeing ever more catastrophic disasters. And this is why it is crucial that all of us in this room join together to speak to understand, and to act in the face of changing social, technical, cultural, and ecological systems.
Science is oftentimes presented as you present, here's my question, here are my methods, here's my theory, here's what I did, and then you get to the conclusion at the very end. I think one of the things that we really need to think about doing is how do we flip that on its head, and we start with the conclusion. We start with what did we find out that matters, and really think about how do we translate our science and how do we bring our science to a much broader public. And that feels more pressing than ever because we know more than we have ever known before. We have this accumulation of knowledge, but then also I think there's this feeling within much of the scientific community that the knowledge isn't maybe being adopted or it's not being used in particular kinds of ways. And so I think really leaving that time within our teams to not just do the science, but also to make sure that we're building in to our project planning the translation piece as well, because a lot of times we go right up until the end with completing our study, and then there's not the time at the end to think about that translation, to think about the different audiences that we're ultimately going to want to communicate our findings to. And oftentimes it's not that our findings change, but our message may need to change to make sure that our science has the greatest impact.